Hello, my name is Amane Shahoyan and I am a research fellow at the Learning Sciences Institute, Australia, at the Australian Catholic University. Today I'm here to talk to you about an article I have published with my collaborators from the University of Queensland and University of Melbourne in Australia in the Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology from Sage Publisher. The article titles Knowledge and Belief Understanding Among Iranian and Australian Children. So as you can guess, in the article we have done a cross-cultural comparison of children's broadly speaking theory of mind understanding with a focus on knowledge and belief development. Before I go to the article, I want to briefly talk about the importance of culture in understanding children's development and human behavior. If we want to understand what factors are influencing children's development and their behavior, we need to know two equally important groups of variables. One of them is social and environmental factors. We want to know whether environment actually influences children's behavior and development. And also we want to know which parts of development and which aspects of development are universal, which aspects of development are, as we call it, genetics, or the effect of the maturation of neurobiological systems. To know that, one way to get theoretical conclusions about that is to have an understanding of what factors, of what developmental aspects are universal and which aspects are culture specific. But do we know that? Well, in an exhaustive review of the literature, Joseph Heinrich and his colleagues, they found out that 98% of the studies published in psychology journals are using samples from a minority percentage of the world's population. This is less than 2% of the world's population. These researchers call this sample WEIRD, Western, educated, industrialized, rich and democratic countries. This is in fact mostly American undergraduate students. So what we know so far, the majority of what we know so far about human behavior is from studying a small percentage of the world's population. So these researchers argue that if we want to make a strong theoretical conclusions about what factors influence behavior and development, we need to look at it from a wider social and cultural lens. And therefore they call for research using samples from contrasting social environment. So our research, the topic of our research is theory of mind understanding. What is understanding theory of mind? For those of you who don't know, in our day-to-day interaction, we refer to people's behavior based on what is going on in their mind. For example, if I just stop and go outside this room, you start thinking, why did I leave the room? Maybe I was tired, maybe I was sick, maybe I wanted to get something from outside. This wanting to get something, this having emotions, are mental states. They don't exist outside, they are just in my mind. I want to go outside and get something. So our behavior is derived by some internal mental states. This is called a theory of mind, the understanding that people's behavior is based on some internal mental states. So children come to this understanding that people act based on what is going on in their minds sometime during their development. And also, in this developmental sequence, to gain an understanding of others' minds, children need to consider people's mental states, such as emotions, beliefs, or desires. They also need to understand that people have different mental states. So people might have different desires. One person likes apples and one person dislikes apples. So this diversity between people's mental states is another step that children need to gain. And also to understand that others' beliefs is different from their own beliefs. So it's a few decades that psychologists are trying to understand how children come to this theory of mind comprehension. Traditionally, theory of mind research has focused on one aspect of understanding others' minds, which is called false belief understanding. False belief refers to the fact that we can hold a belief that contradicts a reality. So, for example, I may go to the fridge to get an apple while there is no apple in the fridge because I think there is an apple in the fridge. So I behave based on what I think, not what actually is out there. A very widely used scenario or paradigm of false belief is called Sally-Ann task. In the Sally-Ann task, a lady or a doll called Sally comes to the room and she wants to put her bread or anything, her marble or her keys, in a basket. So Sally comes in, she puts her marble in the basket, she covers it, she leaves the room. While Sally is not here and she doesn't have access to this room anymore, another character comes in and the character moves Sally's marble or bread from the basket to a box. So now we ask children, where does Sally look for her bread or marble when she comes back? It's interesting that majority of 3-year-olds fail to acknowledge that Sally will look for her marble where she puts it, not where it is actually. So they say she will look for it in the box, which actually is, even though Sally doesn't know that the marble is in the box. When children get to the age of 5, magically they start understanding that Sally will look for her marble where she thinks it is, which is the place that she has put it. So in this very simple comprehension that she puts it there, therefore she will look for it there, is quite a complex reasoning going on. The children need to understand that Sally has a knowledge about the location of this object. And this knowledge is gained from a source. What was the source? Well, Sally puts it there, so she saw it there. And therefore she thinks, so she has hold the belief now that the bread is in that location. So see, there's quite a reasoning going on. And what we are interested is to understand how children come to this comprehension, to this justification that she puts it there, this is her source of knowledge, and this is where she will look to find it. So her behavior is affected by that knowledge. While traditional research on theory of mind has heavily focused on false belief tests, in the recent years, researchers started arguing that theory of mind is broader than only false belief. So theory of mind is a multifaceted phenomena. It's not limited to understanding others' beliefs. As I just explained to you, in that false belief scenario, children first need to know that Sally has access to information. So that's Sally's knowledge about the location of the object. And how does she know? Well, she knows by putting it there, therefore she saw it there. So this looking and seeing is a source of information. So in recent years, Wellman and Liu, after a meta-analysis of the literature, they argued that to gain a comprehensive theory of mind understanding, children go through different steps. So the first step is diverse desires, which means understanding that different people have different desires. Somebody likes something and somebody dislikes the same thing. Then children come to understand diversity between people's beliefs. So Sally might think the marble is in the basket, while we think the marble is in the box. Then it's knowledge access, which is the source of knowledge. How do we access to the knowledge that we have? So, for example, we know about something if we see it happening, and we don't know about it if we don't see it happening. Then false belief, as I explained, and then it comes understanding other people's emotions. So there is a task that Wellman and Liu included in a 5-step scale that they developed, and that's hidden emotions, which taps into people can hide how they actually feel. So even though I'm smiling, in fact, I might be upset. In this scale, in the steps that children take towards passing all of these scale steps, it was interesting that the researchers, Wellman and Liu, they found that majority of children in the United States go through the same sequence. So they understand diverse desires first, then diverse beliefs, then knowledge access, false belief, and hidden emotion. So this sequence has been approved for children in the United States. So majority of children pass the scale steps in this sequence. The research in Australia also shows that Australian children, similar to the children in the United States, go through the same sequence. Intriguingly, a research in China showed that Chinese children go through a different sequence to gain this understanding of mind. So they start by understanding diversity in people's desires. So diverse desire task is the first task that majority of children pass. But then Chinese children had a better understanding of knowledge access compared to diverse beliefs. Then it comes false belief and then hidden emotion. As you can see in the picture, that the scale steps of knowledge access and diverse belief is reversed for Chinese children. A research I did in Iran to see that whether Iranian children go through any sequence, and if the sequence is similar to American children or to Chinese children, we found that, again, interestingly, Iranian children go through a similar sequence to Chinese children, so therefore they gain knowledge access earlier than diverse belief. This is quite interesting, and we have tried to explain this by the cultural differences between China or Iran, which are widely known as collective cultures, and Australia and United States as individualistic cultures, which I will explain this a little bit more later. But to give you an idea, the collective cultures are the cultures that the group gets priority to the individual. So the group need and the group preferences is more important than individual needs. Also in collective culture, there is a great emphasis on wisdom and knowledge, respecting adults because of their knowledge, so they know better. Therefore, parents in collectivist cultures, they put a lot of emphasis for their children to learn things and to know about things. This is how we have explained this sequence difference, that Chinese and Iranian children understand knowledge access earlier than diversity of belief, which is an aspect of an individualistic culture. People respect their differences, people talk about their differences, so more than group giving the priority, individual gets the priority, and therefore children are constantly asked, well, what do you want? I don't want this. What do you think? I don't think so. Okay. In this research that I want to talk today, in our publication, we have asked another question. As I told you in the scale that we have looked at, there is only one task of knowledge access and there is only one task of diverse belief. So we were curious whether these differences are limited to that very only task of knowledge access and diverse belief, or even if we look at different elements of knowledge acquisition, these differences still exist. So in this new research we have included 6 tasks of knowledge acquisition. In these tasks of knowledge acquisition, we look at 2 aspects of knowledge acquisition. One of them is the source of knowledge. We want to know whether children know how knowledge is gained, and also when knowledge is gained. So when did children learn about something? In there, we have developed a story, and we taught children a novel word, for example, or we told children about something, like we had a box and we had an object in the box. And then we told children, when there is something in this box, we want to know what is in the box. Well, I can't open the box, but I can tell you what is in the box. There is a pen in the box. This is a situation that the child's knowledge is gained via me telling the child what is in the box. In another condition, we have looked in the box together. So we said, well, here is a box, let's open and see what is in the box. So it's a looking condition. We are both looking inside the box. And in another condition, we have tried to figure it out from a clue. So we have 3 conditions of how knowledge is gained, which is we're looking inside it, I'm telling you about it, and we have figured it out from a clue. And we also have different conditions about knowing when the knowledge is gained. So we taught children something new, like the name of a color that they didn't know. And then afterwards we asked them, well, so when did you know this? Did you know this yesterday? Did you know this when you were very little, when you were a baby? Or did you just learn it? We also have used different versions of diverse belief tasks. So from the original version, we have developed some more culturally appropriate versions of diverse belief tasks, which I encourage you to read the paper to know the details of the tasks we have used. So what is our results? Our results show that at the age of 3, Iranian children are significantly better than Australian children in understanding their source of knowledge. So in all of these conditions, looking conditions, told condition, and the clue condition, Iranian children are significantly better than Australian children in answering correctly. At 4 years, still they're doing a little bit better, but the difference is not significant. Also, in the when did you learn tasks, again, Iranian children are significantly performing better than Australian children in acknowledging when they have learned a fact. So in these results, you can see the percentages of children who have passed each task at each age, and for children from the 2 different cultures. And you can see that at 3-year-olds, for example, in the looking condition, majority of Iranian children answered correctly, while only around half of Australian children responded correctly to that task. It's interesting that when it comes to diverse belief, the picture is reversed now. So in the diverse belief condition, Australian children are significantly doing better than Iranian children. So in all of our conditions of the 3 diverse belief tasks, and we also, the one that, the bar that shows all refers to children who have passed all 3 tasks. So this is percentages of children who have passed each of these tasks, but also all 3 tasks. And you can see at both ages, Australian children are outperforming. And this table also shows the percentages of children at different ages and for different countries who have passed the diverse belief tasks. So the findings put together confirm our hypothesis that Iranian children are better in acknowledging people's source of knowledge and understanding when knowledge is gained. And to the contrary, they are not doing as good as their Australian counterparts in understanding diversity of belief. So the conclusions are, as I talked about the collectivist versus individualistic cultural values and practices, we believe that Iran as a collectivist culture, similar to some other collectivist cultures, such as China, in these countries, people put a lot of emphasis on gaining knowledge and doing the right thing, but they don't put as much emphasis on individual differences because, again, as I said, group gets the priority. Well, where to forward? This is only the result of findings from two cultures. What we would like to see is different people from different collectivist and individualistic cultures repeat this study so that we can see if these results are actually strongly supported by the cultural differences. Well, thank you again, and I do have my email address here. If you had any questions, feel free to send me an email, and feel free to visit the Learning Sciences Institute Australia website for more information about all of our interesting research. Thank you.